Hey entrepreneur, this is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Welcome to this special presentation entitled How to Help Struggling Nonprofit Group Leaders Turn All Their Hard Work into Cold Hard Cash Really Fast. Introducing an incredibly simple marketing strategy, ladies and gentlemen, that I originally learned by studying superstar internet marketing John Chow, who originally got it from Facebook marketing expert Amy Porterfield. Ladies and gentlemen, it's no secret. If you wanted to know all about round ball, then wouldn't it make sense to ask a bona fide expert like former NBA super legend Sir Michael of the Jordan? Right? That makes sense. Well, when it comes to internet marketing and blogging, this guy, Mr. John Chow of johnchow.com fame, he's certainly somebody you want to listen to. In fact, here's a little tidbit. Currently, John Chow averages a staggering $1,000 gross profit per blog post. Now, let's clarify that though, so you're not totally confused and you don't go out and set an unrealistic expectation for yourself. If you take all his blog posts for the year and divide it by his gross income, what he's saying is each one of those blog posts is worth $1,000. Now, one may gross $200, one may gross $3,000, but on average, he's going to average $1,000 gross profit per blog post. That's pretty amazing. Now, this particular strategy, let me give you some tidbits about Mr. John Chow in case you don't know. Google this guy if you're not familiar with his name. But ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, he has an incredible story. John Chow's family is originally from China. This guy grew up in a house that had no windows in it. So he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he's worked incredibly hard. His family ended up in Canada, and he said his father and mother raised him to believe life was full of opportunities and for him to take advantage of them, and he certainly has. So let me give you some little tidbits about John Chow you may not know. First off, this guy's got about 102,000 Twitter followers. Probably by the time this video is over, he'll add to that. Secondly, and this is incredible, this guy gets a staggering 250,000 visitors daily to his blog, johnchow.com. That's pretty incredible. And thirdly, the guy has over 100,000 subscribers on just one of his lists. So needless to say, you talk about taking advantage of opportunity. Mr. John Chow has certainly done that. Now, in case you don't know, Amy Porterfield, as I said, she's a social media marketing expert that specializes in using Facebook. Her claim to fame is she teaches small business owners and service providers how to successfully dominate their niche using Facebook. Now, this particular strategy that I'm going to share with you, John Chow originally got from Amy Porterfield. And basically, here's what it gets down to. You contact the group leaders inside of Facebook who've set up these different groups, and you approach them about monetizing their membership. Now, I'm not sure if Amy does this anymore, but originally, when she first started, she was doing it herself. But she would contact these group leaders and say, hey, would you like to get 50% of any of the generated profits by monetizing your membership? Now, here's what you got to keep in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, how would you respond if somebody, a big-time marketer, approached you right now and offered you 50% of any profits they could generate off your blog? Whether you think you have any assets that could be monetized or not, what would your answer be? Exactly. So think about that. Before she shows up, guess what these people are earning for all their effort? A zero. So what she does is she lets them know that she has this digital course and it teaches entrepreneurs how to dominate their niche using Facebook. And what she does is she sells it via a live webinar, and it sells for $97. And at the end of the webinar, she will give the person that hosted this, in other words, the group leader, 50% of any profits that she generates. 50%. So here's the question. Would you rather continue getting what you're getting or get half? Exactly. Now, having said that, zero versus no profit, versus 50% of the profit, here's the other thing she says. Hey, There's a way that you could get 80% of all the front end generated profits after the presentation. Would you like to hear about it? What do you think they say? Well, of course. So here's what she says. If you personally put her in contact with at least three other similar Facebook group leaders prior to this webinar, so that she can basically make the same offer to them, she'll give you 80%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stop and think about something. If 100 people come on this webinar, and let's say her average is 40%, so that means 40 people are going to spend $97. And the group leader has agreed, hey, we'll introduce you to at least three other people. What do they got to lose, right? And they take 80%. Amy still got a nice payday because this webinar only lasts, I think, like 2.5 hours, maybe an hour and a half worth of presentation and an hour for questions, something like that. But here's the point. I don't care how good anybody's course is, ladies and gentlemen, especially written. But even with videos, you're going to have questions. So guess what? Amy just happens to have an advanced 6-week one-on-one personalized coaching program for just $3,597. Now, I don't know that this is the case. I'm sure she probably has some type of really advanced upsell, but whether she does or not, this is my slant on it. If she and I were in a mastermind group, this would be one of the first things that I think would be a slam dunk to say that she should be doing. But what I'm trying to get you to see is she could even give away 100% on the front end, and here's why she's still going to make out. If on average 10% of the people that purchase her $97 coaching program upsell and get her 6-week one-on-one advanced training for $3,597, and if you do the math, it's like 14,000 some change gross profit. It's still worth it to her because she's still going to make about $14,000, and that's on 10% of the 40%. Let's suppose she gets 55% of the people to take her up on this, and that means 5 people would take her advanced course at $3,500, or basically say $3,600. So you can do the math there. So the point is, what I'm trying to get you to see, entrepreneur, do you see how powerful a strategy like this is? Now think about it. First of all, she's got a recorded webinar, which means she could blast that webinar link out to all type of entrepreneurs simultaneously. It's recorded. Any sales go right through these people's link. They could make their 50 or their 80%, whichever they prefer, and she's either going to make 20% or 50% every time, plus she knows she's going to get at least 10% of the back end they're going to upsell to her advanced coaching program. Man, I hope you can see how powerful that is, entrepreneur. Now here's something else. Stop and think about this, because I want to flip this around and show you something. What if you're the person that she approaches and she says, you know, I'll give you 50% or 80%. You say, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take 50%, but I also would like to be able to give away some of these courses, and you're still going to get your back end. And she says, well, what do you got in mind? He said, well, we're trying to get more Facebook likes. So we'll tell somebody, hey, you give us a like on Facebook, and we'll give you this course worth $97 by Amy Porterfield on how to dominate your niche using Facebook. Just for liking somebody's page? Then again, they could have she could run a contest where a free drawing where she's going to give away 2 of her advanced 6-week coaching programs. So she gets all these people to enter, and she sends a link out and says, you know, we've got our 2 winners, 1 male, 1 female, but all of you people who entered, I got a special second prize for you. I have this course that's about Facebook marketing. It's one of my most popular courses. It normally retails for $97, but just because you entered my free drawing, for the next 72 hours, I'm going to let you have it for $37. Guarantee you she's going to get some sales. So entrepreneur, I hope this is giving you a little food for thought. And if it has, here's what you need to do. For those of you who want to discover how you're going to add an additional 25% more gross profit to your bottom line in the next 90 days or less without having to add any new customers or clients, then entrepreneur, you need to grab that free 9-page special report. And you know where to get it. youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. Looking forward to being with you again next time on the Marketing Minute.